MC Mikey. MC Ricky.
Overall, it's more stylized and closer to the comics than the previous films.
At the DC booth, they had the cape and cowl on display, and it appears to be made of leather or something similar.
And no suit!
But no suit, as Bruce was sorely disappointed. The head and neck... Again, but it looks a little less rigid than the rubber suit in Batman Begins.
At the panel, Zack Snyder, Henry Cavill, Gal Gadot, and Ben Affleck were all there, and attendees got to see a bunch of concept art of Superman flying through flames, Batman with his Batmobile, Superman running away from a spaceship. Injured Lois Lane.
There was a very brief glimpse at some footage as well, showing Batman on a rooftop in the rain, wearing armor clearly influenced by the final scene in Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns, pulling a tarp off the Bat-Signal. Superman flying up to him looking super pissed off with his red eyes.
And it looks fucking badass. If the movie looks anything like that, I'm pretty stoked.
Yeah, I really liked Batman's armor looking. That is pretty beefy.
Yeah. And we finally got a look at Gal Gadot and her Wonder Woman. It's very Greek influenced and very different from her comic book depiction. Some people are pissed off by this, but honestly it looks a lot cooler than the bright red, blue, and gold comic costume would in live action. I mean, just imagine like the Linda Carter Wonder Woman next to like Henry Cavill's Superman. That would be stupid.
Oscar-winning Argo screenwriter Chris Terrio might be writing the script to the Justice League movie, so that's pretty exciting, actually.
Very exciting. So if that's the case, I think they'd be in pretty good hands. So moving on to... series. Some people got a look at the Gotham Violet, and opinions are coming back somewhat mixed, but our own Ricky for the Win saw it and described it as, quote, decent.
It was decent! Most people are saying that Donald Logue as Harvey Bullock is the show's strongest asset starting off, as he apparently totally kills it as a morally ambiguous... Really good in the pilot. Oh, really?
Thanks, Ricky.
Mad decent.
He was mad decent.
Well, they managed to cram a lot of iconic Batman characters into one episode, with appearances from Selina Kyle, a.k.a. Catwoman, Sarah Essen, a.k.a. Gordon's future wife, Edward... Oswald Cobblepot, a.k.a. the Penguin, and even a young Poison Ivy.
Aww. It's set in sort of a retro noir modern world, so there's cool cars and old school outfits, but computers, which is kind of weird to think about. But it's kind of like how Batman the Animated... I love the aesthetic of that show. Like, yeah, if it's kind of like that, I'm totally cool with there being some weird anachronistic shit going on. Gotham always looks best when they do it sort of Art Deco, real grind. exactly.
The show is beautiful.
Obviously, most shows grow a lot once they get beyond their pilot episodes, so hopefully Gotham can figure out what it did right and go from there.
Moving on to another DC show, The Flash. The Flash dropped a new trailer showing the title character breaking a highway patrolman's windows with his speed. Windows with his speed.
So fast. The show's confirmed that Firestorm and Captain Cold will show up, and that the Weather Wizard may appear later on.
Bruce, do you know what any of that means? Okay.
I love DC character names.
Executive producer Andrew Craig. Have a very different, much lighter and more fun tone than Arrow because they want it to stand on its own and not just be the same show twice.
That makes sense. Nevertheless, the two shows will still cross over quite a bit.
Now moving on to Arrow, there's a new trailer for the next season and we get to see Deathstroke and Ra's al... villain for this season.
But he's the Batman villain.
Well, it's DC.
What? Additionally, Arsenal, the Atom, and Amanda Waller, and the Black Canary will all be part of the next season.
Bruce, do you know who any of those people are?
Black Canary is hot.
Okay.
Yeah, we looked up Black Canary.
Black Canary's hot, confirmed.
And onesie thing. It's very sexy. Star Stephen Amell said that the theme of the season will be identity and whether he can balance between Oliver Queen and the Arrow, so...
Ooh. Also, it turns out that unlike what Marvel has been doing, the universe of The Flash and Arrow will not be within the same... film, which is actually probably for the best. Though it may get a little confusing for casual viewers a little farther down the line when these characters are appearing both in the movies and on TV at the same time, played by different actors with different costumes and, you know, slightly different character.
Dude. Stephen Amell about that and whether or not the Arrow would be in the Justice League movie.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, I don't know, I've not heard anything. Obviously, he was really cagey about the whole thing. Mm-hmm. However, he did say he wanted to play that part. So, and
Is he here? I don't see him. Donnie, my thermal scans indicate there's a 74% variable that there's a 61% chance that he's not here. Okay. Pull in.
good feeling. All I have is a feeling that Arrow will be in the Justice League film and it'll be played by Stephen Amell.
I doubt they'd want to go through the whole casting process and try and find another person when they already have one that's good enough.
Also, he's good, and I think it would make a lot of sense to tie in the TV properties just like Mark.
So guys, if it wasn't already obvious with that girl, dibs.
To Avengers, to, Arrow and Justice League.
Even though they say they're not,
They say they're not.
Also, Stephen Amell's really super hot.
And finally, Constantine, the TV series. They dropped a new trailer showing John Constantine getting into a whole bunch of supernatural shenanigans. It's dark, it's kind of creepy.
Splinter catches us, he'll send us back to the Hashi. I ain't going back to the Hashi. Every time you're in the Hashi, it's because of you. Well, bro, you won't have to worry about me dragging you down anymore. What's that supposed to mean? I'm going out on my own.
General consensus from fans who saw a little bit of it said that Matt Ryan does a great job playing Constantine. He's true to the source material, which is a relief since the absence of his chain smoking and bisexuality had a lot of diehard fans worried.
And then showrunners confirmed.
Finish our hip-hop Christmas album, bro. You're the hype man. Yo, Shh, he's not going anywhere. We all stick together. I'm sorry, I spit in your eye.
Midnight, and the Spectre, and the Dr. Fate will probably show up a little farther down the line. Who are these characters? Tell us in the comments.
That's what I love about DC Comics is like their character names are like super simple. Like they've just...
We got a bogey. Where have you been?
We weren't...
I forgot to soak my retainer. It's their name.
Constantine doesn't have the excuse of being super old like the rest of them.
That's true.
My name would be Assman.
Assman gets to park in the doctor's parking lot in the proctology space.
Oh, yeah.
That's a Seinfeld reference. So that's what Marvel and DC brought to the table at San Diego Comic.
I'm totally sleepwalking. Look, Mike is sleeping and walking. He's totally innocent.
Enough! You disobeyed a direct order. Why did you go above ground? What happened?
Who do you think won? Between all the movies and the TV shows that both companies are putting out a lot of the next couple years, what are you more excited for? I mean, I think Marvel had quantity definitely figured out here, especially on the film front.
Yeah, and they definitely focused more.
If that's how it's going to be. To the Hashi! Oh, 11 hours in the Hashi. Are you sure none of you want to tell me where you were last night?
More so than TV, which Warner Brothers seems to be kind of like putting more...
Yeah, well, I mean, Marvel definitely got the jump on creating a larger cinematic universe. DC was kind of trailing behind. They made the Nolan trilogy, but that wasn't ever planned to be part of a large...
He ain't breaking if Donnie ain't breaking. I'm experiencing intense nausea, but not breaking.
Well, they're kind of starting from scratch with just Man of Steel, which came out last year. So they're sticking more to TV, which I think is a little more conservative, and it's just a different approach from Marvel.
So one thing that I noticed is that Marvel didn't talk at all about their Netflix shows, like the...
In the zone. There's literally nothing that could break me right now. Starting to break.
Of course, you've all tasted the 5-cheese pizza. But this... Cheesemongers have speculated of its existence for...
And like the Iron Fist show, and like, what's the one with the girl that's coming out?
Who cares?
But yeah, they didn't mention those at all. I just realized that, actually. Hopefully that's not a bad sign for those shows.
Anyway, take in all that information. You know,
Da Vinci's original masterpiece. I submit to you. Novantadove formaggio. The 99 cheese pizza.
It's not possible.
Mikey!
swallow it, let it digest for a little bit, and let us know who you think won Comic-Con 2014.
Comic-Con 2014.
Bye. That's how the universe comes together. That's how we conceive the universe. You do this one? That's how the Marvel Universe...
So with that variety of cheese is a culinary impossibility.
Shall I list the ingredients? Cheddar, provolone, Asiago,
Keep it together.
Alaggio.
I don't even know what that is. All right. We left the lair because the folk were taking hostages and we kicked some serious butt and there was this girl named April O'Neil who took our picture. But we took care of it.
Idiot.
Oh no, my worst fears have been realized.
Don't worry about it. Now you raise the pitch.
Oh. All right. Oh, wait, sorry. It was way too personal.
No, it's April O'Neil who is in danger. Find the girl. Bring her here.
But Sensei, you said to not go above...
Find the girl. Find the girl.